It's taking place in our mind. Our mind is guiding us, directing us all the time. So if we know how to handle this mind, then we can direct ourselves. Thank you. For example, there's a few things that we should look at, how our mind brings different experiences. From the Buddhist point of view, basic suffering that we experience in samsara as a human being is the suffering of dissatisfaction. What you call poverty mentality. That's the basic suffering of human beings, according to the Buddha and his teachings. So the basic quality of suffering that we experience in the world is a dissatisfaction, and that dissatisfaction is happening here in our mind, right? Nothing outside. It is in our mind. We always have these experiences that if it weren't for this, I would be really happy. Right? Always there's something. If it weren't for something, right, I will be really happy. If I have a nice house, home, I will be really, really happy. Right? If I have my ideal job, I will be really, really happy. Have you met anyone who has found an ideal job in their life? It's very hard. There's a story here. I think it's a Sufi story. That there's a story that one man was looking for his ideal bride, ideal wife. And so he went to one country and he found this girl, beautiful and everything, but her views didn't match with his. Right? Then he found the next country, very smart woman, everything was great, They agree on everything. Can you imagine that? But she wasn't beautiful enough for him. Right? So he went on and on with that journey, and finally he found this woman. The ideal woman, She is beautiful, she is smart, their values are the same. Right? We have so much hang up on values. And their values are the same, and so on. Everything was perfect. And he didn't marry her. Why? Because he wasn't the ideal man for her. Right? It happens. It happens. So we continue, right? We go on with such dissatisfaction for how long? Right? How many times we can change our bride or groom? Or how many times we change our homes and cars? How many times we wish to change our children and parents? Right? How many times? We go on, endless search, endless journey, right? You can find your ideal home, looks very beautiful, big enough, everything, right? After a few days, a few weeks, the first time when you moved into this house, you thought it was perfect, right? And after a few weeks, you find something to change. Why? Our dissatisfaction is creeping in. Again. Once again. Something wrong here, We can always change a curtain, we can always change the color, we can always change the furniture, always can get more dishes. Can't we? I just bought one recently. We can always get more, right? And more. And look at your closet. Right? Look at our closets. How much do we gather? How much do we, strive? I want this shirt. I want that shirt. Right? It fills your closet. And how many times you wear. That's a good research to do, for this economy. It will be helpful. And also helpful for your mind, right? So this dissatisfaction continues. It never ends, no matter how much you have, right? At the end, what do we end up? We end up stuffing our whole garage, whole attic, whole house with junk. Everywhere you look, full. Everywhere you look is full. Closet, cupboards, drawers. You can't find any space to store the things you need to store. And then we go on garage sale. Right? And only thing we find valuable on garage sales, we get about $2.50 a piece of all these things we have, collected over the years and took care of it. How many time you spend to take care of these things? How many storage space you have dedicated for this? But at the end, you get paid only $2.50. It doesn't make sense, right? And so therefore, dissatisfaction is our biggest obstacle. Our biggest obstacle in our mind. Working with our mind, the first obstacle here is dissatisfaction. We have a wonderful samsaric anthem to sing, right? Can't get no satisfaction. Right? It's wonderful, wonderful song. And so therefore, such reality is the true nature that we are experiencing in our mind every day. No satisfaction. No satisfaction. And you can see how much suffering we have from this dissatisfaction. When do we feel we have a sufficient wisdom? When do we feel we have a sufficient clothes, sufficient things at home? And without that, how much suffering we are experiencing. So our mind, mind is the primary agent that brings such suffering. That's our basic suffering of the human mind here. Very important to suffering. And very important to work with. And how do we work with this dissatisfaction? From the Buddha's teaching, the main practice here is the practice of contentment. Right? Main practice here is the practice of contentment, which comes from your mindfulness. With our mindfulness, we look at our situation, we look at our mind, we look at our physical world, both worlds of mind and body, and to take some sense of wisdom. Bring wisdom to determine how we can best use with all these things that we have already. The contentment practice is working with how we can best use what we have. Utilize all the resources that you have already, whether it's a wisdom or physical wealth. And we have a saying in Buddhism, the greatest wealth is the wealth of contentment. If you're discontent, you're not wealthy, are you? when you're content, you're the wealthiest man in the world. You're the wealthiest woman in the world. When you have this sense of contentment, there's a great joy arises from that. Great joy. A great benefit. You're using everything you have. You're not wasting anything. You're utilizing, using, making everything into a piece that benefits others and that benefits oneself. So that's a great practice from the Buddhist teaching point of view. The first practice is working with the contentment here. So what are